All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite, and if y'all don't know already, I'm
And
Chris.
I'm Leisha. What up?
And today, y'all, we have a very special event. For those of you all who know, we are very involved in the spiritual community, and we have quite a few other people who are heavily involved into the spiritual community as well, especially when it comes to twin flames.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Light workers, to be exact.
yeah, so we have a very special guest. And you want to introduce our special guest, first?
Let me introduce our special guest, being that we share the same birth date, 23rd. It's a very special number. Both Libras, okay? And his name is Baz Porter. He is the light angel. And just like his name implies, that is just how he is. He's a light angel. Very beautiful soul, benevolent being, just here doing his job, just like we are doing our job, bringing light into the darkness. And so without any further ado, Baz Porter.
Baz,
our
my
light
man.
angel.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're doing well, doing
Good.
really good today. And we want to thank you so much for taking this time out to spend some time with us and go through this kind of question and answer thing as far as when it comes to twin flames.
It's
Yes,
an honor
and-
to be here, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, Baz, we're gonna jump right into it because we know a lot of our subscribers and everything are anticipating this. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So, if you don't mind, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, of course. I'm originally brought up in London, in the UK. I've been on this spiritual path now for about 20 years, on and off, going off my different tracks, all the rest of it. I'm ex-forces. I spent 9 years in the British Army, retired in 2004. I then became a DJ for 7 years in Ayia Napa in Cyprus. And then I came back to the UK to be a gardener, and I had my own business, and I still do that part-time, but full-time, I'm a spiritual life coach. I help people all around the world on ascensions, twin flames, and other categories of spirituality worldwide. I've got clients in Australia, States, Portugal, all over the UK. I enjoy my job. I love what I do.
Awesome.
That is wonderful.
That is awesome. And now, you mentioned something just a moment ago that you've been on this spiritual journey for the past 20 years. I mean, that's a long time.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah.
Can you remember the point where it actually started for you?
Yes, I can. I was in the Middle East, and I was in a certain situation, and I heard a voice in my head and said, asked me to get up and not quit. I can't explain where this voice came from, but it told me twice to get up and not quit. That's where it started. And then when I got out of that situation, I had an awakening that changed my life, where my senses were heightened somewhat, where I could hear and see things that I couldn't before. And you have the downloads that go with it, the cold sweats, the nightmares, the anxiety and all the rest of it. And I realised I would never be the same after that. And it went slowly uphill from there, and to what I do today.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, that is truly remarkable. And just a quick question. This is actually outside of the questions that we actually put together because we do this stuff on the fly sometimes.
So,
But through your journey, through your spiritual journey, what has been probably the most challenging part of your spiritual journey?
self-belief was mine. Believing in my own intuition, believing in what I was hearing and seeing throughout the course of this journey, and letting go of it, of this 3D mindset. We, as as humans, we become so accustomed to being programmed into things, and it's releasing them programs and knowing there is more out there, such as an infinity, and having a limitless belief with things.
Get rid of the limitations that we put on ourselves. That's so important. And you know, Raz, it's good to hear you say this, because you've been on this path for about 20 years. Now, this is very inspiring for people who are just waking up, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and they have, you know, that doubt that they struggle with too. Especially, you know, this is something that's unfamiliar to them. They don't really have anyone to share it with. So coming from somebody who's been on this path for 20 years, just being real, you know, keeping it 100, letting them know that this is the challenge for you also. So that's amazing.
It's a challenge, and it's also something that can be overcome with patience and time. It doesn't. Nothing on this journey happens overnight. And I've learnt that the hard way. I mean, my patience is sometimes, I want things now. I want things now, and it just doesn't work like that. It can't work like that.
You won't believe it, Baz, because Chris, I say this all the time in like all of our videos, that my patience has grown so much because of Chris. I think he took all the patience when we left up in the other realm and set me down with nothing. Yeah. But I used to be like that. Now instant. Whereas now, like, you're right, it does grow and it does develop, because now I find myself not yelling at everybody that I speak to.
Including Chris.
Now I actually listen, and I know sometimes I shock myself, like, wow, this must not be the same me.
Yeah.
So
I've also found the key is, as you just said, listening to people as well. Not just jumping in. You listen to people, how they actually feel, not what they're saying, but their emotion behind it.
Yes.
And that's taught me a lot about people. I've also, on this journey, I found that I'm always learning. Always. It's not one day I don't learn something new. Challenges you come across are there to put in your way to either overcome, teach you a lesson, or ascend you in some way, so you become a stronger person.
Yes,
right.
And then you pass that knowledge, you pay it forward with everything you're doing. And I love the journey. I love doing what I do now.
I love it. I
That
love
is
it.
awesome.
That is like music to my soul. Like, it's just playing the beats. Like, yes, every point was like a dun 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 dun. So amazing. Yes, man.
Oh boy. That is wow. That is definitely something that needs to be said and heard, because that's something that we've been talking about so much on the videos that we do for our YouTube channel. Is patience is key, and not rushing the process. It's like the saying is like, don't rush the process, trust the process.
Right.
And that's so key.
Exactly.
Yes. Exactly. In Vince, where I'm from, they say don't rush the brush or you will get painted.
I hear a lot about people seeing numbers and things like this. And I mean, I although I've been on this journey for some time, the angel numbers that you see are also indications of what you must do. So if you're ever afraid of something, get on the internet, look them up, go and see these guys. This is what they do. Trust into people that have been through this journey and are still going through it, because people come to us and they're so shy, they're so, oh, I don't know what to do next, etc. And then all of a sudden it's says, oh no, what do I do now? How do I go about this? And they don't trust what they're seeing.
Right.
And it's so hard for them just to let go of that and be who they are.
Yeah, that is so true. All right. So one quick question, and for our twin flames out there, we're gonna get into the twin flame stuff in just a second.
Yeah.
But for you, Baz, what do you feel is your mission here on Earth, on this realm?
What is my mission? To help ascend and to bring in twins to union, to bring collectives together, to educate, and to be a part of something a lot bigger, of a global awakening and a global healing process. I'm just a small cog in a very larger picture. And I'm quite happy in that knowledge of knowing this and finding out where things are and how to go about them. And through my process of learning, I then teach others and support others in their journey.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
I also appreciate your humbleness.
Mm.
I always try to remain humble. I don't believe in ego. I've let that go through previous experiences where I thought I was the big I am, etc. And I've learned from that. I've been taken down a peg or two, and we get knocked back, and we're like, "Oh, that's not the way to go." Okay, we'll start again. But we learn that as the process goes on. And ego, I find, is a very, very big thing with people in the spiritual community, and there's very few without it, and it's a shame. But it's a lesson people do learn, either the easy way or they learn it the hard way.
Yes.
This is correct.
So correct.
Yeah, but that's definitely commendable about having such, not that everybody's part here is important. You know, everybody plays a part in the role or whatever. But the humbleness that comes with it, I think that's key also. And that is being reflected. Well, at least I can feel it.
Yes.
The humbleness, the presence, it is amazing. And I think this is good for others to see also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Very much so. Very, very much so. I like you guys because you're so real yourselves. You're normal people, exactly like myself, who like to help people on the same journey. And I've got great respect and a lot of time for you. And you know, if you ever need me for anything, I'm always there. And it's vice versa. It's a great connection.
When we have dreams that we don't understand, we go to Baz. So I was like, Baz, what's going on? What does this mean?
I call him up,
Call Baz.
And I'm the same with you. Alicia, Chris, what's going on now? This shouldn't be happening. Come on, just give me an insight to this.
Exactly.
It's a
team.
It's a two-way. It is a two-way thing.
Yeah.
But that's what light workers do. They help each other. And I've found that very much with this journey. Being light workers, whatever situation we're in, there's always somebody we can talk to for advice or other knowledge. And no one is ever, I don't like to use the term, but they call them ascended masters.
Right.
If you were that ascended, you wouldn't be here. You'd have gone to a different plane.
Exactly. Yes.
You've still got lessons to learn. So you are ascended to a certain point, but you can't be a master. Otherwise, you'd be passed on into other energies.
Right. So that is so deep right there, Baz, and true. When you really think about it on a different perspective, then yes, because this is the atmosphere. Like this is the densest, one of the densest places you can go in the universe. So if you're right. If you're a master, like what are you doing here?
It's to do with the energies, and that's my personal opinion on it. There may be other opinions, and I'm quite happy to listen to them. As always,
it's okay. It's all okay. What is okay? So we have a next. I'm gonna ask some questions because I gotta participate too.
Okay.
So the next one we have here is when did you learn that you had a twin flame? Now this is everybody on their toes waiting for this one now.
Yeah.
I learned that I had a twin in 2016. I didn't know anything much about twin flames before that, and I had my false twin in 2016, where many people on this journey, their life fell apart. The connection was absolutely insane. and then it disappeared. It went. She didn't want it. She wanted to go somewhere else. I went to someone for a reading. Said it was all. This is what it was. This is what it is. And then it wasn't. And then I went back, and she went, "It's a false twin." And I went, "Excuse me, what's a twin flame?
Right.
What's going on?"
It's just us. It's the opposite, because we didn't know what it was until after.
Yeah.
So that's right. The same thing.
And you get on the internet, you do your little research, right. All this comes up, and you think,
start going down there.
Wow, what's going on?
Going off the checklist.
The check, yeah.
Yep.
And then I discovered my real twin, and it went from there. And we're still on that journey. As simple as that.
That is beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so I have another question, because I'm still participating, Bags.
Okay. Inspire me as much as you like.
All right, what has been your biggest challenge with your twin flame journey? If you have overcome this challenge, how did you do it?
It's been fear. Fear of the connection. Fear of not knowing. And I have overcome it to a certain extent. And I've overcome it by having friends, or I first called colleagues, now I call them friends, such as yourselves, who have helped me on this journey. And every time I've had a problem, I've phoned them up and I've said, "It's got real again. What's going on?"
Yes.
And you know what, man? That is so important. That is so important, that one of the things that you realize is that this journey is not one that you can take by yourself. And it takes, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. Even though we're adults, we still have to reach out to our community, to the people who truly love us and have our backs, to really help support us through these tough times.
Exactly. It takes a village to raise the light worker. How about that?
There you go.
That's good. I mean, I've also learned that it's not just about inner work and understanding of your own past traumas, your own events to clear, and getting on what your soul mission is while you've come here. It's also about having support of other people who know about this. It's not all about one self journey all the time.
No.
It's bringing people together.
Yes.
As a collective, as a soul family. To ascend together.
Yes. That I love it.
So true.
This is perfect.
Yes.
Like, people need to hear this. Like, I'm so glad you're touching on these points, because they're so crucial and they're so important.
Yes.
It's all well and good to heal yourself, but we're here as a collective. It's a collective consciousness.
People seem to get so, and from what I'm seeing in the community, in every community, they're so fixated on something there in front of them, they don't look from above and look at the bigger picture.
Right. It's stuck in the box.
And I've learned to do that through my mistakes. And I now, before I go in hot-headed and go, this needs doing, I step back. And I just be for a minute.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, a call was trying to come through, and it
it's okay.
Put it through. Can you start that from?
Yeah, you said about getting hot-headed. We have a lot going on.
If in doubt, try the other phone. It's coming back from looking from above and stepping back from a situation and just being yourself for a minute.
Right.
Centering it and then reevaluating it from a higher perspective. Because what's going on in front of you isn't always what's really going on.
Right.
It's what your 3D eyes are seeing, because it's testing you. Once you've understood that and had an understanding of that, stood back, looked from above, what's really going on, discovered what you think is happening, then called all your mates up and say, it got real again. Can you clarify this? Then you have some clarification with it.
Right.
So you're bringing everybody else into a situation to help you to come to a realization about what it really is and not what you just think it is. It's confirmation of everything coming together as one. It's all about coming together as one unit, as a light working unit for a bigger picture. It's not all about the twin flame connection with that person, as I've found out, and I'm sure you have as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Touch on that, but you could even repeat that.
It's not about having the twin flame connection with just one, your partner. It's about a soul mission collectively and your individual missions together.
That is music.
Music to
Do you
our
hear
ears.
that harmony
What it's
playing?
about.
Hear the harps playing right now.
You hear that? It's just perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
And I mean, I found that to begin with on this journey, I was being selfish. I thought it was just me, and then I stopped and I stood back and I watched. And I watched for about a month what was happening, where it was going. And I was doing meditations, I was doing grounding. When I started to do this, my other skills started to awaken. Which means I had another awakening.
Yes. Another cocoon phase, as I call it.
Yeah. During that awakening, this was so strong for me. I had probably around 15 years of downloads in 3 weeks. So I went through bleeding through the ears, the nose, cold sweats, nightmares, seeing spirit animals, spirit again, even stronger than I was before. Messages from angelic realms and beyond, different dimensions, light travel, light body activation, Kundalini activations, and this was all in 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness. And I'm complaining about my little light that went off.
And I phoned up a friend of mine, her name is Anne, and I said to her, Anne, little issue. She went, yeah, I know, I'm in hospital, you're on your own. Went through all of that on my own. 3 weeks. 3.5, and it was nearly 4 weeks by the time it stopped. And even now, I still get ringing in my ears. I still get the dreams. I still get visitations from different beings, different spirits, giving messages, guidance, instruction. A lot of the time it's instruction. So it never, the journey never stops. You may think, it's over. It's gone quiet.
Nope.
And then something else happens.
When it comes, you're like, I got this.
It's the quiet before the storm.
Right, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Oh, and then boom.
This is so perfect because, like, once again, like Leisha said, there are people who are just starting on their journey.
Yeah.
And you've been on this journey for 20 plus years.
Right.
And it's a thing to really check people's ego.
Yeah.
You know, to really humble themselves because they just started.
Right.
And they have no idea what's coming. But with proper guidance and help and realizing that you can't do it on your own, it makes the process a little bit easier.
Right.
Anybody in my experience through, I mean, the journey that I'm on and still on, the journey doesn't ever stop.
Nope.
Anybody who says, I can do this on my own, they will always come back and say, actually, I can't.
Right.
Because the incident will happen where the ego will be dropped and the humbling nature comes through and say, guys, I'm struggling a bit here.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come back humble.
Right.
Yes.
And there's a lesson in that too.
Yeah. Big lessons.
Yeah.
And it's a strange to watch. I mean, this has happened to me personally. I'm sure it's happened to you as well, where they've come up to you and they said, after being, I'm going to do this on my own, I've got this.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, they'll come back and say, actually, Chris, Alicia, I ain't got this.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
I need guidance. I need support.
Exactly. Yep. I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
And as light workers, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We'll sit down, have a conversation, air it all, and then slowly move forward.
And just be humble and remain humble.
Yeah. And you know what? You actually just hit on one of the questions we were going to ask you about, which is something that you've seen with the collective, and as far as people that's dealing with their twin flame journey.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just accepting what's going on and being patient, things of that nature. And we actually got to pick up the kids in just a second, but we got one last question for you. And that question would be, out of everything that you've already said, you've given some awesome advice.
Really good advice.
And I definitely hope that everybody has their paper and pen and they're taking down notes.
Some good notes.
What would be your advice for people who are watching this video, ones that are looking for twin flames or just looking to grow spiritually?
To grow spiritually and for twin flames, surrender. Surrender without any expectations. Because as soon as you surrender to a journey without expectations, it leaves room for the universe, yourself, because you are the universe, to move around you and become who you are meant to be. Remember who you're meant to be. You let go of the expectation, surrender to the journey, or to the expectation of the journey. You leave yourself open to far much more coming in to your life for your greatest good. Not for what your 3D mind thinks it is, for what the universe wants for you. Surrender to everything that you've been taught and unlearn it. Because you think there's this little thing in front of you here. What's actually there is a whole world that you've not seen yet. And if you surrender to the expectation of limitations, because there are none,
right,
then you move forward. And you don't expect an outcome.
Right.
Don't expect a phone call from him or her.
Right.
Expect it. And then if it comes, you're pleased.
It comes. Right. Exactly.
It raises a vibration.
Yes, Baz. Touch on it.
True.
Touch on it, Baz.
I'm getting chills over here.
I wish I had a mic right now because I would have just went like this. Bam.
And then after you've raised that vibration of yourself, you then become that vibration permanently. Because you're that level of, I'm here, I'm not going back down there.
Right.
I'm staying here. And then you learn from that experience. So the next experience allows the next experience to come in for you to learn from that experience, whether it be meeting up with your twin. Nervous. Do your tie, hair. Not that I've got much, but you do your hair. And then you're nervous for that. Then you meet them. And it's like a connection you've never seen. Surrender to it, and you'll bring them in. Fight it, and you'll push them away.
Yeah.
I love it. Baz, listen. It's like we had a piano, and you were just playing the piano.
Perfect notes.
Perfect notes. Yes. Thank you so much, Baz.
It's a pleasure, and I'm humbled to be here. And thank you very much for spending the time to talk to me. It really is.
Humbled to know you.
Yeah. And for everybody who's watching, as Baz mentioned before, if you're going through a spiritual awakening, or if you're going through your twin flame journey and you have no idea what's going on, once again, y'all can reach out to us. We have our website down in the description, and we're also going to have Baz's website on the description as well.
Yeah.
So if anybody is looking for a consultation, believe me, it is like gold when you get help from Baz.
I'm telling you, listen, Baz is proof. So if you guys are having any kind of blocks or things that you're not quite understanding, things that are too strange to talk to the regular Joe, Baz is your guy. He will definitely understand. Won't judge you. We don't do any judgments, but we will help you. We will aid you.
Yeah.
We do this, and the guys have helped me. Chris and Alicia have helped me through so much recently on my journey, and I'm most grateful for what you've done.
Thank you. We're grateful too, Baz. You've helped us a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot.
We, as light workers, this is what we are here to do, and we help each other ascend and overcome difficulties.
Yeah.
And this is my sole contract is to do, and I do it, number one, because I enjoy doing it. Number two, it feels right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
well, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we got to head out, and this has been awesome.
Yes, man.
And this is actually going to be one of our videos. They're going to be our first premiere videos on YouTube. So everybody, it's going to be. So we're going to be watching this live
and
with
we
our
could be
subscribers
there talking, and you could be there. You could talk to them too. So it'll be so much fun.
Yes. So we are out, y'all. We love y'all.
Love you guys.
We are Twin Flames Unite with Baz. And y'all have a wonderful evening.
Peace out.